Hello, I'm Adam Williams and I write historical novels. History has been a passion all my life. Ever since 60 years ago I read my first historical novel, Kidnapped, by Robert Louis Stevenson, followed shortly after by a real history book, Our Island Story, and I never looked back. For me, they were both rattling good yarns, wonderful adventures set in a romantic past. It was also a discovery of a new world, which in my imagination I've never really left. I'm often asked why I chose to write historical fiction rather than straight history. And I find it difficult to answer because actually there's a lot of crossover between them. After all, good history and good historical fiction are both researched narratives where you can transport yourself during the moments that you're reading into the minds of long-departed people to work through their dilemmas and to understand what it must have been like to have lived in a distant past. Historians, though, are bound by facts, which sometimes run out. But even then, a good historian can use historical imagination to bridge the gaps. Historical novelists, though, live in the historical imagination. Like the old Heineken ad, we refresh those parts of history that other beers can't reach. And I love that freedom. So, what is the attraction of a good historical novel? Is it escapism? Is it a search for exoticism that takes us on to another land, another time, away from the daily humdrum of our present? Well, it must be admitted, partly so. I plead guilty to reading costume dramas and military adventure sagas. There are so many naval tales now being written, set in the Napoleonic Wars, that you could launch a flotilla with them. The other day, watching Pirates of the Caribbean with my daughter, I recalled as if it were yesterday how during my school days I used to read with a torch after lights out swashbuckling adventures by Sabatini, and dreamt myself onto a creaking three-master gliding through sun-soaked islands on the Spanish Main. Yes, of course, escapism is part of it, and if a historical novel can't waft you away to a more romantic time, it ain't doing the trick. But there should be something serious about a historical novel too. After all, history is serious enough, and the rules of a historical novel at the end of the day are the same as for any other novel. Why do we read novels, any sort of novel, if it is not to throw light on that old chestnut, the human condition? We cannot look at history, any period of history, without, in a small way, seeking parallels between the past and our own present. We're not actually looking for people whose manners and customs are alien to us. We want to enter an alien world and then find that we recognize the inhabitants. We want to be comfortable in that world. Unless the characters, whatever period of history is being described, strike a chord with us, unless their actions and motivations match our own perception of experience, we will not even believe in them. What actually is one of the greatest joys about history is the reassurance that however far back in time we go, human beings act the same. Lust, love, fear, courage, honor haven't changed over the ages. People haven't changed, not deep down. Their customs and cultures may vary. Their eating habits may raise an eyebrow. The predicaments they face in their unique circumstances might be different in detail to our own. But it is the historical novelist's job to get us so deeply into the minds of those people that we understand why they behave in the way they do. And more often than not, we discover that their challenges and predicaments have a relevance to our own condition today. I make no claims to high literature. I don't think I've even dented the human condition. If, however, when you read any of my books, you find that you've enjoyed a good yarn that has taken you to another time and place, or been moved by a love story, or thrilled by a bit of adventure, I'll be more than happy. I'll be delighted. If one day one of you tells me that you caught one of your grandchildren reading my book under the bed sheets after lights out with a torch, as I did many years ago with Pirate Tales by Sabatini, oh, I would be over the moon.